Welcome back to another episode of the White Sox March to October, and welcome back to another season of the White Sox March to October. And today's the start of what's going to be our 5th season in this White Sox March to October. This is officially the deepest into one single March to October I've ever been. But in our 4 complete seasons up to this point, we have won the World Series in every single season, starting as the lowest ranked team, the worst team in the league, immediately turning that team around and creating a dynasty. Ooh, and look at that. They're showing our projected stat leaders, at least on offense. We got Vlad sweeping almost everything, because remember, Luis Robert's gone. But yeah, as has become, I would say, tradition at this point, we're just getting right into this opening day game. We'll play opening day here before we take a look at any sort of rosters, and then I'll take you through the roster after this game's over. And man, right away, look at who we have to face. The new ace of this twin squad. They just signed Sandy Alcantara in the offseason. He only has 50 pitches. That was his 50th pitch. We're in the 6th. And dude, Spencer Jones. Actually, that's still carrying. I didn't think he got much of that, but it just kept going. But yeah, anyway, with the roster thing, since it's opening day, CPU sets the opening day roster. This is not the lineup that I've set myself, but I have gone in, I've set the lineup the way that I want it to be set. So that means I've looked at the rosters, and boy, we do have a couple things to talk about. But for now, the focus is on maintaining this lead, wrapping up an opening day win, getting out to a division lead immediately. And dude, Senzel? How far is that gonna carry? Is Senzel doing it against righties this season too? Dude, I don't know. Normally, Nick Senzel against a righty is not the matchup that I like to have, but I just went ahead, hit with him. He just went 422 to center. They're calling a strike on that. That's a tough call. Colin Houck, I went first pitch swinging, nothing going there, but we do add on. Now we have a 2-run lead. I mean, I'm feeling really good. I know who we have on the mound, and that's Zach Gallen. And look, I mean, this is just so normal for him. 63 pitches in is whatever. He's still got like 3/4 of his energy left. If I don't blow it with him by making yellow release pitches, he's going to get an opening day complete game. And he's not just the reigning Cy Young Award winner, he's the reigning MVP winner. I don't necessarily think he maybe should have gotten it over some of the other people that were in the mix, but I'm not going to argue. Look at what he's doing already this year. He's trying to go back to back. That's 12 strikeouts. I didn't even notice that. All right, there's another one, man. Maybe he's not just going for a complete game shutout. He might be going for more history. Let's do some math here. What do we have? 10 outs left in a regulation 9-inning game. That was 13 strikeouts. Record's 20 as far as I'm aware. Oh, and we couldn't miss a bat there on an 0-2 count. He fouled off 2 pitches, then put 1 in play. You can't complain about a weak dribbler like that, though. And Vlad, okay, that's as good as getting through. He's going to get himself on. I think that's his first hit of the year. And I think just because it's the start of a new year, you can't help but kind of go back and reflect. But I think going all the way back to when we traded for Vlad, that was year 1. That was probably like the turning point in the early days of this March to October. Like getting Vlad was probably what cemented the run that we've put together over the next 3.5 seasons after that. And this guy too, Ezekiel Duran. This was my first trade, or one of my first trades, and he's been a big part of the team. He's actually been an even bigger part of the team than I thought he'd be when I made the trade for him. I knew he was going to be good. Didn't know he was going to be this good. And he's going to take a walk. We've got 2 on, nobody out to start the 7th. And man, I got a round on that pitch. Just didn't come off the bat with anything. That was a pretty good swing. Oh, and now he lost Montgomery too. I don't know what possessed me to take that pitch. That was almost perfectly placed on a 3-2 count. I don't know if you should be taking that pitch, but hey, it worked. I'm seeing that right now. I am seeing that low sinker. I'm shocking myself. And Shea Langoliers. I mean, that's what he does. An opening day grand slam in his first full season with the White Sox. I mean, he's still technically in a platoon with Mejia, but you face more righties than lefties. He's gonna get so many at bats this year. I am so intrigued to see what his final home run tally is gonna be, because I think he hit 19 last season and he only played in like half the games. I think he played in like 80 games. Oh, and then I'm missing another one with Spencer Jones. He's been pretty close on a couple swings. I don't know though. I guess I guess that grand slam though kind of makes the rest of this game almost feel like a formality at this point. So we'll probably just cruise to the end here. Actually, we'll take this at bat pretty seriously with Nick Senzel against a lefty first, because this is where he excels. Yeah, they don't want to pitch to him. They don't want to pitch to him at all, and I can't blame him. He is otherworldly against lefties. I think he batted like 450 or something against lefties last year. Up to 99 contact, like 80 something power. They didn't even mess around with him there. And then Fletcher, lefty. I timed that up still. Just didn't move the PCI in far enough. I think we can be satisfied with that inning, though. Man, and now we gave Zach Gallen a bunch of room to pitch pretty freely on the mound. We still have 3 innings to go, though, man. There we go. Finally, another swing and miss. A lot of contact being made in that at bat. Man, even when I miss the pitch that bad, Gallen's that filthy. And, well, that's 16. A 20 strikeout day is very much in play. We've got 2 innings left. Oh, and there's another one I'm just missing. PCI is kind of tiny against Ryan Barucki. Like, it doesn't feel that small waiting for the pitch, but then the pitch comes in, you look at the feedback, and it's like, well, I don't even know what it's like. My mind went blank. It's small. That's what it's like. Dude, this is... I had to check. I had to check what his overall was, because this is such a nasty pitcher right now. He's a 66 overall. That sinker's coming in at 95. He's got a ton of movement. He's got a funky delivery. For whatever reason, the PCIs are the size of a pea. There we go, though. I mean, he hangs a circle change. You better hit that one. Oh, and he hangs another circle change. All right, well, thanks for the free back-to-back doubles with 2 outs. And, well, that is going to end the inning, but we've made it a 7-0 game now. We have not missed a step from where we were last year in the postseason. We were doing this to everybody. Gallen has so much energy left. He doesn't even care about his pitch count. Okay, Correa's making it tough. We can't get a swing and miss from him. I'd almost rather a walk, though. Or we'll just catch him looking on a perfectly placed pitch. I was going to say, though, if we're going for our 20 strikeouts, I'd almost rather allow a walk than get like a weak contact out or something, because a walk at least doesn't take away from the remaining outs. Oh, and now Buxton's not chasing either. 2 perfect 0-2 pitches, and he's just letting him go. That's not very Buxton-like. Come on. Can't quite sneak the fastball past him. Oh, and another one. I don't know. Does that get rid of our chances, or do we have to get 3 strikeouts next inning to get to 20? Either way, this is quite the opening day for Zach Gallen. Ooh, wait. It's going to get through. All right. I guess that's how good Shea Langoliers is. Worse against lefties. Gets jammed. Still gets a hit. Okay, there's Spencer Jones finally getting a hit on one of his good swings. Still, that'd be a pitch that I'd like to get under. Drive it, maybe. But Spencer Jones has a big role this year. Not only is he finally getting some starts, which I don't think he did last year. Is that not getting over his head? But yeah, no, Spencer Jones, he starts this year, and not only starts, but he starts in center field. He's got a big role to fill, and he really didn't put up that great of numbers last season. So I'm hoping for a better season this year. I'm hoping for a leap in his attributes. Man, and another tough one on Fletcher. That, I mean, you got to swing on a 2-strike count, but that's a tough one. Man, and Houck missing one too. I think that's an 0 for 10 from our top 2 hitters in the order on opening day, and we've still put up 7 runs. All right, hey, there's another punch out. That'd be what, 18? Yep, 18. There's still a chance. And well, there's 19. It all is going to come down to the last batter. I mean, actually, maybe what I should have done there, since we got him to chase a pitch in the dirt, I should have just not thrown it to first. We could have manufactured the chance at 21. Ooh. That... you had to try. That might be an example of one that Robert would have gotten to, and Nolan Jones I'm gonna call him Nolan Jones so many times. I think Robert gets to that one. Jones is a little worse out there in center and didn't get as good of a jump. Although if we had Robert and he got there, we wouldn't still have a chance at 20 punch outs, but now we've got Royce Lewis 0-2. Oh, and we did it. Slider stayed in the zone. It was not supposed to, but that is a 20 strikeout day from Zach Gallen on opening day. Are you kidding me? And we get all sorts of extra momentum because we got a shutout and a blowout win. That's about as good of an opening day as you can get. All right, man. So let's see what all that turns into then. I still can't believe that's just a casual, complete game, 2-hit shutout with 20 strikeouts for Zach Gallen on opening day. He's like that. He's defending his MVP title. Looks like they're going to give me a chance to sweep our opening series here without having to spend too much of our momentum. That is like the perfect situation. We lead the division, but that's probably going to be it for the gameplay today because I want to take you on a tour of our rosters for this 5th season of the White Sox March to October. And I'll tell you right off the bat, we do have some dumb things happening, but that's to be expected, especially from what we've learned what March to October can do, but it's not as egregious. It is nowhere near as bad as last season with them just taking my first draft pick of this series. So let's go ahead, let's start with the offense because there's nothing wrong here. This is the exact same roster we took through our postseason run, except we have Spencer Jones now instead of Luis Robert because we let Robert walk. And in terms of what I'm doing, it's pretty similar. We've got against righties, Fletcher will lead off, Hayes is going to DH, Langoliers fills that cleanup role now though without Luis Robert. I think he's going to do a good job. So that then puts Duran in left because we have Montgomery playing third with Lawler at short, Colin Houck is at second, and then Spencer Jones is going to be our starting center fielder against righties. I mean, 64 contact, 58 power. I'm not going to try and say that that's, you know, great or anything, but I feel like that looks so bad right now because the rest of our team is so good when you look at those attribute wheels. And he should be solid in center, although the two probably most important attributes to be a good center fielder are his two lowest fielding attributes. You want to see especially the reaction high and then obviously the fielding high. But 73, that's still a silver badge. He's got some speed to make up for it. And I know there was that ball he didn't get to. If we start seeing more of that, we could move him to right. He does actually kind of seem like a more natural right fielder. And then we could give Fletcher a chance in center. I mean, he'd be in a secondary, so he'd get a -5 to his fielding and reaction, but it'd still be better than Jones is. But for now, I'm just going to keep him in their primaries. But then against lefties, obviously, we have to have Senzel in the game, DHing, leading off. But then since he's DHing, Hayes moves back to the outfield and left, Duran moves to right. Infield's the same, but then we do have Fletcher starting in center against lefties over Spencer Jones. And I know it's not like Fletcher's some great lefty hitter, but he has made a lot of improvements to the point where his contact is better than Jones's and their power is the same. The big one though is the clutch. The 81 clutch, way higher than Spencer Jones's 55. I know that only triggers when there's runners in scoring position, but that's still enough of a difference that if it's one or the other, I think Fletcher's the better one to have start. And actually, I guess that also explains why I have him starting over Lazaro, because Lazaro's a righty, technically has the matchup advantage, but there's still even enough against lefties, and Fletcher's clutch blows him out of the water. So we're sticking with Fletcher. He's gonna, for the first time in this White Sox March to October, be an everyday starter, which actually I almost forgot to mention, but this is the perfect time. I didn't realize this, but it's a very crazy fact to me. Dominic Fletcher is the only position player left from our episode 1 team. I think if you had asked me back in episode 1, who would be the only player left by year 5, I would not have thought it was him. Oh yeah, and then I also forgot to mention, but we do still have the catcher platoon, Mejia, starting against lefties because of that 90 contact against lefties is a lot better than Langoliers has. All right, and then moving on to the pitching, because this is now where things get a little bit frustrating. Our guy's back. Davy Garcia is locked on this MLB roster once again, still for the same reason it's always been. He's out of minor league options. He's on the 40-man roster, and the CPU just is too afraid to release anybody, so he's stuck here. But he's a 71 overall these days, still a B potential, still in his 20s. You know, he could still get better. He might not be as unusable as he's been up until this point. The same can't be said for the newest Davy Garcia, the newest Sammy Peralta, if we really want to throw it back, Prelander Berroa. I'll be honest, I forgot about him. I forgot that he was still a thing. But this is the year that he's finally out of minor league options, and I mean, it's the same problem we've had. I don't need to get into it again, but for whatever reason, the CPU it prioritizes not losing the rights to a player versus having a better player on the MLB roster, and then there's nothing you can do about it. When we get the chance to call somebody up, Berroa is not going to show up on the list to send down. It is probably the single worst thing about March to October this year, the most frustrating aspect of this game, and it's coming to get us once again. I can already feel myself talking way too much and rambling way too much, but I definitely had a couple other things I wanted to say. First being that we have Dustin May in the starting rotation now. Brandon Woodruff's regressed. We didn't add a new starter. This was the plan going into the offseason, was that Dustin May was going to become a starter. What I didn't realize though is just how good of a starter he is, because the way that the attributes are weighted and calculated into an overall is different for relievers and starters. So since Dustin May has more of a starting pitcher skill set, his reliever overall is only an 83. But I want to show you guys something. This is just on a franchise mode for the purpose of showing you guys what I'm talking about. But 83 overall Dustin May. If we change his primary position to a starter, not touching any of his attributes, he becomes a 92 overall. So it's not going to show up like it. It's not going to look like it. But technically, Dustin May is our ace. He should be our ace. He should be our best starting pitcher on the team. And really, this makes me think he should have been in the rotation all of last year too. And then a couple other quick things to show to wrap up our trade management screen. I'm filling up our players to shop. So we'll shop Berroa, we'll shop Davy Garcia. I'm actually fine with trading Brandon Woodruff if we get the chance to, because we need to free up a spot in that bullpen, because the two other signings I made in the offseason, because of Prelander Berroa and Davy Garcia, they're stuck in the minors. So we signed, at least at the time, 83 overall Jose Leclerc, who has put up now 6 straight sub-3 ERA seasons. But no, he's stuck in AAA. We also signed 78 overall Sam Hentges to be our third lefty, but he's stuck in AAA. So getting rid of Woodruff, and then especially if we could get rid of Garcia or Berroa, would be ideal. I also threw Tyler Wells on here because, I mean, we have so many better options right now that could be bullpen arms, but he could still be valuable to somebody. And then I quick touched on it at the end of the offseason episode, but just another little frustrating thing, the CPU auto signing somebody like Noah Syndergaard at a 62 overall, and him by default being on the 40-man roster, taking up one of those spots. That means we can't progress with some of our draft picks. Jeremy Bench, he's still not on the 40-man, even though he's a 79 overall. Same with Johnny Castro at a 75. He's stuck off the 40-man. And the reason that's a big deal is if you're not on the 40-man, there's no chance at a fast track player lock. There's no chance at a call up. So unless something happens to get somebody off the 40-man and then one of these guys happen to get put on it, this is going to be another season without seeing any of our draft picks make it to the MLB. Except for one unlikely source of hope, and he goes by the name of Morgan Gallegos. We drafted him last year. I don't remember what round it was, but he had a starting overall of 70 overall, which is really nice. His potential though is a D, so he's not going to get any better. But for whatever reason, he got put on the 40-man roster. So of all the people we've drafted, been in our system longer, higher overalls, better potentials, that haven't been put on the 40-man, it is Morgan freaking Gallegos that gets put on the 40-man. And you know what? That could be really good, because if he does happen to get a fast track and we succeed, that turns him into a top prospect in baseball, because that makes his potential probably go all the way up to a B. And then you're talking about an 18-year-old who's a 70 overall with a B potential, star. But anyways, guys, I've rambled on long enough. I kind of can't believe how excited I still am to play another season of March to October, even though we've already done 4 of them with these Sox. We're in January. We're near the end of January. But the White Sox March to October is still going strong. So don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed. Leave your thoughts in the comments. And I'm closing in on 1 million subscribers, guys. Why don't you guys hit that subscribe button? Get me a little closer. But anyways, thanks for watching again, you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I will see you next time.